negotiate his way around the court, and the dancers around the court, and he can't quit. We got. Okay, he's just going over to say hello to me. What?
Oh, no.
Jay, does this ever happen to you?
Yes, and I started dancing with the dancers.
Exactly.
Shocking.
Why wouldn't you? He almost gets tripped right. Oh, we missed it, but it's coming up in just a second. He almost gets tripped at the very end, right here. Whoa! Yeah. There we go.
Well, someone's got to call out that screen, right? I mean, at the end of the day, someone's got to be out there calling out the screen and saying, "Hold on a second, she's going to make that move right there."
If you're Houston, I'm not calling out any screen. I don't want
I
Draymond
think
to
the
be on the court.
dancers were freelancing. You couldn't even call it out. You don't know what that is, though.
Do I not know what freelancing
Not
is?
in dancing. Anyway.
Well, one way or the other. We have a very high-pitched show this morning. High energy, high whatever. Welcome back to Get Up. We come to you live, as always, from the Seaport District of Pier 17. Brought to you by Chase. I'm so thrown, I've lost track of my words. Here's what's coming up in this hour. We're getting up with Joel Embiid. He needed an IV at 6 in the morning, then did not look himself in a tough loss. What does all this mean in Philly? We're getting to the bottom of it. Plus, KD has been the best player in the playoffs, but over the weekend, we saw the strongest evidence yet that this run will be his last in Golden State. We've got that story. And the best player on the Cowboys wants a new contract, and he wants the ball. Sounds simple. We'll explain why it isn't so obvious how the Cowboys go about feeding Zeke in this hour of Get Up, which starts right now with our game of the night, which took place in the afternoon. Well, let's not quibble over that. Here's Joel Embiid. He wakes up at 6 a.m. He needs an IV. He's not well, and he looked it on the floor. Meantime, Kawhi Leonard, he's well.
Kawhi Leonard, second best player in the game, one of the most efficient players we have, just understands how his body operates. You leave him alone, ball head fake, boom, three-point shot.
17 points, 10 boards in the first half for Kawhi. Raptors up 2 at the break. Third quarter now. The Raptors are down by 4, and it's Leonard. And wow, not nobody to go to. Why not just take it yourself? He will drill that there, knocking down the three as there's some defensive confusion. So we're going to go to the fourth quarter all tied up in this one. Really big game and a very good one. Tied at 81 now in the fourth quarter. Jimmy Butler gonna lose it, gonna get it, gonna throw it up. Oh, and the bank is open. He would score 29. Sixers a 3-point lead. But now we go down the other way, and it's Leonard who not only can shoot it, but he can find his teammates.
Just making the right play. Big time kick out to Marc Gasol, knocks down the shot. That's what Kawhi Leonard does. Forces the defense to collapse. Guys make shots.
Gasol would score 16 on the night. Meanwhile, Embiid, again, struggling. You see him there. That's a microcosm of his night as he has it stripped. Under 4 minutes to go. Raptors are up by 2. Kawhi, yes, so good. They have a 4-point lead. So the Sixers, where are they going to turn when they need a 3? How about this guy, J.J. Redick? Bang, 19 points for Redick. It's a 1-point game. Still a 1-point game. Embiid, this is the shot he needs to make.
These are the shots that he's made before, but something about Joel Embiid was off. He said he was sick, but we'll talk about that later.
All right, and then here's the moment. Shot clock winding down. 3, 2, 1, and a dagger 3 from Kawhi. Oh, the reaction north of the border was enthusiastic. Kawhi, 13 of 20, 5 of 7 from 3. He scored 39. Raptors win.
I got a text from him at 6:20 a.m. this morning telling me like he didn't sleep all night. He'd really never felt this poorly, and he was unsure, Coach, if I'm going to play. I just want to give you a heads up. I'll try, but I don't know. And, you know, with that started my day.
Yeah, he's got to be ready and expecting that. Obviously, he's feeling a little sick today, so that plays into it too. Practice tomorrow. Get ready for the next game.
Okay, so Joel Embiid clearly has been the story of the series so far. And according to Second Spectrum, he had 3 post-ups last night, tied for his second fewest in any game in his career. 0 points on those, only the 3rd time in his career he failed to score 1. What gives? Laura Woj, tell us.
So, yeah, a lot of people kind of feel like it looked like maybe Brown, maybe Simmons even, a little annoyed with Joel Embiid there. But you're saying that it's really not the case.
I didn't get that from those comments. I think, you know, Brett Brown will generally be pretty transparent. I got a text at 6 in the morning. This is how Joel was feeling. I thought they were trying to explain a little bit that he was sick and actually trying to defend him a little bit in a performance that obviously wasn't up to the standards of what you expect with, you know, the most dominant big man in this league.
Yeah, we'll go back to the desk in just a second to get those guys' take on Embiid as well. But this was interesting. On the last Woj and Lowe podcast, you talked about the tough decision that Philly might have to make between Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris, trying to decide if they could keep both or if they'll have to keep one or the other. Are the playoffs making that an even harder choice for them?
I think in some ways they are. Now, financially, they could sign both, you know, 2 max deals or near max deals. but it's going to be expensive because Ben Simmons' contract is coming up. Now you're talking about having 4 max-level players when you include Joel Embiid in there. That's a lot of luxury tax that limits the rest of your roster. But Jimmy Butler's, 30 years old. Tobias Harris is 25. They gave up a lot more for Tobias Harris than Jimmy Butler. And I think the thought was if they had to choose between them, they would choose the younger player in Tobias Harris. But you look at these playoffs and you look at how it's gone down the stretch here, Jimmy Butler's been indispensable for them. And I think if he continues to play well, they make a deep playoff run, it's going to be very hard for this ownership group to not give Jimmy Butler what he would want to stay in Philadelphia and try to go forward with what will be a very expensive team. But they have to convince both players to stay, and Tobias Harris will have options elsewhere too.
Feels like it'd be hard to say bye to Jimmy Butler. And I have to correct myself. Woj and Low is a TV show, not a podcast, and my bad on that. I've watched it on TV, so I don't know why I said that. What's going on at the desk, guys? What do you guys think about Joel Embiid?
Yeah, that really, to me, is a big part of this story because every other day it feels like we're having an entirely different conversation about Joel Embiid. It goes from does he belong in a conversation with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to is he really a player that you can build a championship team around? There's no question about it. You just heard Woj talking about the big decisions they have to make. This is a team and a process that has been leading up to this moment. What is going on with Embiid?
I think those are 2 separate conversations. I think he's a generational talent that would put him in the conversation with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as far as his talent. There's something about Joel Embiid I just don't trust, though, from a level of maturity. If you're sick, and I've seen guys be sick before, I've seen James Harden play being the Terminator with the scratch retina, I've seen Steph Curry dislocate a finger. I'm not texting my coach at 6:20 in the morning saying I'm unsure if I can go because I'm sick. I'm playing in Game 4 of the NBA playoffs, regardless of whether I'm sick or not. Now, if I have a great game, and if you want to tell people, by the way, he had an IV at 6 o'clock in the morning, that's great. It enhances my legend. But if I have a bad game, I'm still not even coming out telling you that I'm sick. There's no excuses right now in the playoffs. And that's the one thing that people have questions about when you think about Joel Embiid. The maturity. Game 1, I'm not sure if I'm going to play or not. Not sure how I feel. You have to come ready to battle each and every game of the playoffs. That's what you're built for.
There's always something with Joel Embiid, but you got to sign him to him. I mean, look, that's a non-debate. I mean, he's the cornerstone of your team. You talk about how good he could be. Now, comparing him to the greats, he's had 2 really good years. He's second-team All-NBA. Let's not, pump your brakes on comparing him to the best that have ever played that position. He has the potential. He's a prospect when it talks about being one of the greats. Here's my problem with the whole situation. If he's going to play, then, dude, play. All right? And play as hard as you can, as long as you can. Look, he had the knee issue during the season. I don't think he's in great shape. I think he's a little bit overweight right now in terms of his ability to play long periods of time. And I think right now, he has a hard time playing consecutive games. That's just the way it is. But if he's going to play, then throw him the ball. Because if you're going to play Joel Embiid, you got to put him on the left block more, throw him the ball, wait for a double team, or let him score the ball. Great that he can shoot a 3.
He's going to get max money, but there are a lot of serious questions you have to go into that whole thing and think about.
Oh, he's getting max money.
Well, I'm saying that, but there are questions that you have on Joel Embiid.
You got to use him differently. You got to. I mean, I understand the low post thing in the NBA, but you've got to put him in a position where he has the greatest advantage. His greatest advantage is on that left block. Play through them and let play
Look,
out.
there are a lot of questions. As great as that 1-2 punch they put together there is, of the high picks of Embiid and then Ben Simmons, they both have question marks that they create. With Simmons, obviously, parts of his offensive game, and then with Embiid with some of this. Now let's work our way back to the beginning of the conversation at the top of the hour, which is Kawhi Leonard. Because this dude is something else, and he is playing great, and this team has a chance to win a championship because he's that good.
You can mark this down. You can @ me on social media. I do not care. Kawhi Leonard is the second best player in the game of basketball. My 1, 2, 3 would be Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, then LeBron James. His ability to do it on both ends of the floor is something that we have not seen. I said it during the first hour of the show. He's the next iteration of Scottie Pippen, but he's more evolved offensively. Shooting 62% from the field. 62% from the field, averaging 38 points in this playoff series. And by the way, he took the last fourth quarter and essentially, using that wingspan, shut Jimmy Butler down. Jimmy Butler had 19 points going into that fourth quarter, and then he was 7-11 from the field. Fourth quarter, all of a sudden, he was 2-7 from the field with 1 turnover.
To me, he's more Kobe than Scottie Pippen. But to me, it's not just his ability to score, his ability to defend. It's his ability to make the game easier for other people. I mean, yeah, he scored 39 points, but maybe the 2 biggest assists of the game because the guy never forces anything. He takes what the defense gives him, and he makes the right play. He can create separation off the bounce. You put him in a ball screen. If they commit 2 to him, he's going to make the right play. He made the play for the 3 for Gasol. He made the play for on the baseline for Ibaka. The guy has a high basketball IQ and plays to win. He's all about one thing, winning. Nothing else.
Well, or you can, I don't know. I mean, that whole San Antonio situation, if you want to say he's all about winning, that would have been a little bit different.
When he plays,
when he's on the court, yes.
When he's on the court, he's all about winning.
Something went wrong there, and I think it damaged people's perspective on him a little bit. But as you watch him go, I mean, when the most notable thing about him in the offseason was that he has an unusual way of laughing, and that sort of became it. Now, you just watch the guy play. To your point, he's not a volume scorer. He never takes a bad shot. He never forces anything. He's the goods.
And, by the way, Nick Nurse was brilliant. We'll show it later because they